Yes, I am a Christian now, and I just wanted to kind of give a bit of information on this and just to share my perspective on what's kind of going on. And if you'd spare a few minutes, I think you might find this interesting, whether you are a Muslim, non-religious, a Christian yourself, any other religion. Um, so, as some of you may know, over the past 7 to 8 years, I was making videos about Islam, making dawah videos, trying to convert people to Islam, to believing in the Quran, and essentially just trying to spread this thing that I thought was the truth. Now, I had done my due diligence. Well, I thought I had anyway. I tried to read up on all the different supposed contradictions in the Quran, all these errors, stuff like this, and I found nothing at the time. And I don't know what it was, but I saw a good few videos on YouTube and read a good few articles, basically around the idea that the Quran is not the same as it always has been. Of course, we're told as Muslims that the Quran is eternal, it's never changed, that it has no contradictions or errors. And essentially, if any one of these things is disproven or proven wrong otherwise, then Islam and the Quran, it's not from God, it's false. And so when I started reading about this, learning that the Quran had been changed, that we had different versions of the Quran before Uthman destroyed them all and created the one that we kind of have today, even though there are about 37 different Qur'ats, different translations of the Quran into different types of Arabic, etc., etc. Think of that what you will. That kind of started to shake my belief a bit, and I started reading into things a bit more. Then I started finding contradictions and errors, such as the inheritance verses just not adding up mathematically in some situations, verses on embryology not making sense biologically, actually having clear errors in them. And even the Islamic dilemma, it's quite a famous one now. It makes no sense. And so I came to the conclusion that the Quran was false. It definitely wasn't true. I've got videos about this. This is not the video to comment about that. If you want, go and look at my previous videos I've done over the past few months about this topic. And I think you'll get a lot more information there. It's got all the references and all the sources, and I actually explain my point, error by error, contradiction by contradiction. So if you're looking for that, probably a better place to go. So I concluded that the Quran isn't true. It's definitely false. It definitely has contradictions and errors, and it has been changed throughout history there. But that didn't disprove God. I still believed in God, because you can't objectively prove or disprove God based on observations, science, this, that, etc. We haven't done it. No one's done it. You can't do it. It's a very personal belief. And it's subjective, 100% over being objective. So I still believed in God. And so I started praying to God, just praying to show me the truth. I was very confused at this time. I spent 7 to 8 years of my life devoted to this, praying every day, reading the Quran, studying. Thankfully, it wasn't my entire life. I can't even imagine how difficult it would be for Muslims who have gone through this and they've been Muslim their entire life. Truly devastating. I was worried and scared about, wow, what if I go to hell? What if I made a mistake? And so I was just praying to God, saying, I truly believe you'd make me rely on my intelligence, on my critical skills of thinking. And I'm coming to you now to break down any biases I have. Please just show me the truth. Come to me in dreams, in visions. Give me thoughts, give me ideas, speak to me. Just give me some guidance, please, towards the truth. Now, I didn't grow up religious. I didn't grow up Christian. I grew up quite anti-religious. My family didn't like religion. So I didn't in my head think, right, I'm going to Christianity. That's the next thing. Not at all. I just prayed for guidance, and that then actually led me to Christ. I started reading about the Bible, and I'd only ever learnt about the Bible from the things my parents had told me and from what Muslims had told me. And my parents told me that it was a judgmental book and it was just a translation of a translation of a translation, and that there were many errors and contradictions. And Muslims told me that it was a book full of errors that had been changed, that had been corrupted. But I'd never actually researched this for myself, so I did the research, and lo and behold, I find out that the Bible, there is no evidence of it ever being changed, and we can check if it has been changed very simply based off footnotes and comparing it to the earliest sources, the earliest codexes, the earliest fragments of papyrus scroll, that it doesn't really have any contradictions or errors apart from scribal errors, just from people making different spellings. That as far as historians go and historical analysis, it is an incredible historical resource. It's very accurate, incredibly reliable, and very truthful, simply based off how historians use their methods to conclude how historical sources are judged and viewed. So that completely blew my mind. I continued reading the Bible, continued praying to God, not as a Christian, not to Jesus, but just to God, my idea of God at the time. And I started to feel something I hadn't felt before, a presence, a comfort, a kind of love, something in my chest, in my heart. And that's when I realized that my faith before, as a Muslim, it was hollow. It had no substance. And that what I was experiencing now had so much unbelievable depth. So I continued reading the Bible. I continued learning and researching. And I read Psalm 23, verse 10. And it made me tear up. I had some issues with my family in the past. And this verse spoke to me, spoke to my soul. And I remember thinking, this literally is written for me. But this book was written 2,000 years ago. I've never found that with the Quran. And I kept reading the Bible and I kept finding verses like this that just spoke to my soul. The Quran is full of rules and regulations and threats of punishment. The Bible has some of those too, no doubt, but it's full of such unbelievable love and comfort. I've never turned to the Quran when I've been feeling lost or broken. But when I've turned to the Bible and read the Bible, especially in these early days, it hit me so hard that I can find comfort and peace and love from this book. It's the complete opposite to the Quran. So I began to pray to Jesus. I said, God, fill me with your Holy Spirit, guide me. If you are a triune God, please show me signs. I started to get signs. So I started to pray to Jesus, and my experiences changed. I just was full of, only what you can explain to Holy Spirit, and just full of this love and exploding passion, and I really felt confident I found the truth. And this is a very subjective experience, don't get me wrong. I didn't go into this thinking, oh, I'm feeling good, this must be the truth. I spent months and months looking at the academics, at the history, at critically thinking and analysing and trying to tear these texts apart. And only when I found that they were actually valid and actually reliable and accurate as historical sources, as far as they go, that's when I started opening my heart and actually trying to develop this as a spiritual thing, or allowing it to develop as a spiritual thing. It's been incredible. I got baptized 2-3 weeks ago. I've been going to church since the start of the year. I just wanted to share that. I may make some more videos about my experiences going through this, because I know there are many Muslims or maybe even ex-Muslims who are feeling pulled toward Christ, towards God, but they're scared of what they've learned in the past. Am I going to go to hell for this? Am I being a polytheist? things like this. And I just want to share some of my experiences with you. So they'll come in, those videos will come in, soon, no doubt. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. Truly powerful stuff that's completely changed my life. But that's where I stand now. So I do look forward to the comments, um, the angry comments from the Muslims, who are wanting to express that anger. I look forward to the lovely comments from the Christians welcoming me. I look forward to the neutral comments who are just interested to hear a little bit of a story. Let them roll in. Let them roll in. But what I do ask is if you are a Muslim and if you are angered by this, rather than just going off in the comments, please watch my videos that I've done in the past few months, the ones with the green background, actually explaining the errors and contradictions in the Quran. Because I have reacted just as you are now in the past. So, yeah, believe in God, test your belief, and if it's true, it will be true. If it's not, then your life will completely change.